Hey, football fans, welcome back to another episode of Lions Latest, the show where we gather on to talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes, and we're talking about the Thanksgiving game and also something that I wanted to mention in yesterday's video, but unfortunately it got released before I had the chance to. So let's get into today's video right away. Beforehand, though, if you've been liking the videos, if you've been sticking around to see the content, see the updates, make sure you guys go and subscribe, like the video if you haven't already. It means a lot to me, means the world to me. I'd love to see you guys continue staying here and getting involved in the comments. So let's jump into the video. Starting off, Packers game. The Packers beat us 31-24 on Thanksgiving, and the game was really highlighted by Jordan Love, who threw 4 touchdown passes, and the Packers' success on fourth downs and our unsuccess on fourth downs. Two of their fourth downs included 2 touchdowns, and the Lions, despite a strong offense, showing led by Jared Goff and the emergence of Jamison Williams for this game, really couldn't overcome a key ankle injury to Amon-Ra St. Brown and our own failures when attempting fourth downs. It just wasn't our game. It could have been our game, I feel like. It definitely could have. But we had a lot of missed opportunities, and I think it just got away from us after a few. So losing St. Brown in the first was devastating, obviously. That's, losing your best receiver before the game even gets close is devastating. But thankfully, JMO and Tesla and even Tom Kennedy stepped up for the team. Still wasn't going to be enough, though. Our lack of conversions, opting to go for it instead of making a 7-point game with a field goal, stuff like that killed our momentum. We just couldn't convert on fourth downs. And I know that's our whole thing is go for it. Change the way that teams have to prepare for us. But we used to be able to lean on our O-line for stuff like that, and we just can't do that right now. Our O-line was not good enough to be doing stuff like that. And we could have kicked a field goal, made it a 7-point game, and instead we decided to go for it and missed a pass. Run up the middle wasn't good. It didn't go our way, and it felt like there needed to be some changes that just weren't made. The Packers, on the other hand, went 3 for 3 on fourth down attempts, 2 converting into touchdowns, and we went 0-2. Our O-line was missing Graham Glasgow. It just didn't look great. Goff was getting mollywopped the entire game. Despite this, still, Jared Goff passed for 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, I wouldn't even put it on Jared Goff this game. He was just avoiding shrapnel the entire game. It was a dirty pocket. On the other side of the ball, Jordan Love was setting up his apartment in the pocket. He had so much time on each play. Jordan Love threw for 4 touchdowns. He completed 18 for 30 passes for 234 yards and had a 124.2 passer rating. At the same time, his receiver, Dontavion Wicks, had 2 touchdowns and was instrumental in the fourth quarter, which sealed the game. It just it wasn't a great showing, and it was a game where we really needed to have a great showing. I will never stop wondering how our backup crew, the Legion of Whom, could do better in pass coverage than the 2 starters we had who came back this game. Now, granted, the 2 starters were cool. They had some good plays, but it was just so much blown coverage, so much wide open nonsense, so many contested catches that the Packers just came down with every single time. It was a little maddening. Brian Branch was great this game, but unfortunately just basically let a touchdown go. He was in coverage on the sideline and was on him the whole time, and just right before the goal line decided to stop. And the guy was then wide open and caught a touchdown pass. Now, do I think that was a touchdown pass? I don't know. He bobbled the ball. He only got 1 foot in when it looked like he had full possession of the ball. I'm not really sure. The rules on this seem to just change every week. So I guess give it to him, but Brian Branch could have done better at covering him there. Finally, Parsons just gave us hell. The entire D-line for the Packers gave us a hard time. They were a defensive force. Parsons recorded 2.5 sacks and made a key sack late in the game that forced the Lions to settle for a field goal when we should have settled for a field goal earlier in the game. And the Packers never trailed this game, securing their 3rd straight win and sweeping the series against us this year, which I really didn't see coming. It really, really sucks. And now we're in a really, really bad position for postseason. It's not good. And I'm trying to be positive about it, but it sucks. It admittedly sucks. We're just going to have to play a dang near perfect season to have a chance now. And it's looking like we're going to end third in our division after going 15-2 last year, which, again, just sucks. We'll talk more about playoff standings, our chances, what we have to do to get into a position to have a chance later this week, or rather, probably Monday. But for now, this is what we got. This is how the game went down. Our O line didn't do good enough. Our D line didn't do good enough. And we just gave Jordan Love all the time in the world to make the reads he wanted to make. It just sucks. On the other side of the things, there was probably some opportunities we had to get points, to get a momentum going, to maybe get this game within one score, and we opted to go for it on fourth down. Which, if that's what we do, that's what we do. But if we can't make it happen, we need to make changes, and it just didn't happen this game. Shout out to Tom Kennedy for showing up out of nowhere. Shout out to Tesla for helping out, and shout out to JMO for stepping up, and shout out to Goff for still playing a pretty solid game despite what was happening to him. But it just wasn't our game this week. And now we can go into some lighthearted stuff. Some players who were good despite the loss. JMO, let's start with him. 7 catches for 144 yards and a touchdown. Great game. Great step-up game. The only note I really have is on the fourth down attempt where it looked like maybe Goff threw a bad ball. I don't know. It still looked JMO could have made a play on it. At first, it looked like he just dropped it, and that sucked. I think that was like the one bad part I could talk about JMO, because he really did step up, and he really did give us a fighting chance in this game. Tesla, 2 catches for 35 yards, so not crazy, not a crazy amount of catches, but he had a touchdown with one of those catches, caught both his targets. Can't be too mad at the Rook if he's doing his job. He's catching the balls that are thrown at him, and he's getting a touchdown out of one of them. Good stuff for Isaac Tesla. Jack Campbell was 4 for 4 on tackles and was a monster on the line of scrimmage. We thought this would be happening, and it did, because he's Jack Campbell. He helped keep Jacobs to 83 yards and no touchdowns on 17 whole carries. He was just a model linebacker this game. You could really see he was playing with a lot of energy. Like, he wanted it bad. His tackles he were making were great tackles. He never let Josh Jacobs lean forward. He was always pushing him back after the tackle. It was really, really great stuff from him. And even Alex Anzalone had some great tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Linebacker core did great today. But unfortunately, you need more than the linebacker core to do good to win a game against a good team. And that just wasn't the case. But shout out to Jack Campbell. I think he absolutely did his job in this game. And I think he continues to do his job at stopping the run and also just being a menace in that middle of the field linebacker position. Great stuff from Jack Campbell and great stuff from all of those guys. Unfortunately, it doesn't translate into that much of a positive note because we lost the game. And now some fantasy points. So we had some players who did good, but what were some players that did great in fantasy? Well, let's talk about Monty, because in my last video, I talked about how Monty was going to have a bounce back game this week, and he didn't have the bounce back game I wanted him to have, but nonetheless, it was still a bounce back game. After really 6 midweeks of David Montgomery, he finally goes over 11 points. He had 12.8. Thanks to 32 rushing yards and 2 catches for 16 yards. Also, that wildcat formation snap that he took as a touchdown to rush into. Great stuff from him. Red zone demon as always. Love to see David Montgomery getting the ball. I knew that the Packers were going to have their eyes on Gibbs this game, and while Gibbs had more rushing yards, I'll take the touchdown. I'll take the trickery. It even would have been cool to see that trick play happen if Goff hadn't dropped the ball. But still great stuff from David Montgomery. Let's talk about JMO. It really is the JMO show right now. He's coming off a 0-point week. His best score this year at 26.9 points. That ain't too bad. Because, I mean, he had his most targets of the year were 10. Turns out when you give JMO the ball, good things tend to happen. And that's kind of, it's kind of unfair to say because St. Brown was out, so obviously he was the wide receiver one this game. But it shows. You get him in space, and he can do a lot. And I was kind of surprised that since St. Brown went out, he wasn't getting more attention on him on defense. So it was a great game from him. He was a great flex or wide receiver 2 this week in terms of scoring, and I'm sure a lot of fantasy owners were very happy with his performance. Jared Goff. Can't be mad at Goff this game. I refuse to be mad at Goff this game. Did he have a few throws? Yeah, sure. I mean, but to be perfect, it's hard. It's really hard to be perfect, especially with the O-line we got right now. He was under fire the entire game and still was able to put up a great number. 20.6 points off 20 passes for 256 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's a pretty good stat line. Oh, and let's not forget his 24 rushing yards. Okay, Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, who? It's actually his third straight week in a row just beating the crap out of Lamar Jackson in terms of fantasy points. So got to give Goff some credit, even if you're mad at the loss. He still did his thing. He still was doing his best despite the adversity they were kind of facing all game, kind of having to play catch up all game. Can't be too mad at Jared Goff here. I think if you had him in fantasy, you were happy. I think if you had him on the bench in fantasy, you were maybe a little sad, but still happy. Your backup was still doing great. That gives you a little high hopes, right? Like if your guy is to go out, you got Jared Goff. I think overall, Jared Goff really did his best game despite the odds and despite what was going on in that backfield. And I'm happy with how he did, to be honest with you guys. And then our final topic, because I can't believe, so I recorded my video earlier this week, and I think 30 minutes after I finished it, uploaded it, everything, they announced Frank Ragnow is unretiring, and I was like, of course. So yeah, Ragnow's returning. I did a little happy dance in my kitchen when I saw this notification come out from Adam Scheffler. Dan Campbell actually said earlier this month that, quote, the ship had sailed on unretiring Frank Ragnow, but it looks like the ship has sailed on the ship sailing. Ragnow's 29. He was a first-round pick in 2018. His 96 regular season appearances and starts. His 2023 season saw him earning the league's highest interior run blocking grade at 91.3. Yeah. And an 88.8 overall grade as a center. His run blocking grade was also third best among centers since 2018. So he was a huge part of our success last year. Let's not get it twisted. Frank Ragnow, he ran the O-line. He was that leader up front. He worked great with Jared Goff, and he got our running game going. And this move comes at a time when the opposing defenses have really just cracked the code on slowing down Jared Goff, crack down the code on stopping the run if they can, pressure him up the middle, move him off his spot, and make Goff a less effective passer, make him less accurate. That's kind of been the plan, and we've kind of seen defenses do that ever since playing the Chiefs, really. It's really unclear when Ragnow will officially return to the roster, whether he'll just be an immediate installed for a starter, or whether he'll just be helping Graham Glasgow, sharing snaps. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what kind of shape Frank Ragnow's in. All I'm assuming is that he caught all the fish in whatever lake he was fishing in, and he got bored and decided to come back to football. But the sooner the better, really. The Lions are currently not among the 7 playoff teams in the NFC. The loss to the Packers makes things even worse for us. It was a clutch time to have him saying, I'm coming back. And there's even a chance he comes back, and there's no chance for us to even make it to the playoffs after that point. I'd still love to see him come back. I'd love to see our team kind of show flashes of how he looked last year, and I think Frank Ragnow's going to be a huge part of that success. I'm really stoked he's back, guys, and hopefully he stays more than just this year, because having him next year would be excellent as well. But that's in the future. I'm at least happy we know what we know now. And yeah, with that being said, we are out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this kind of somber episode of Lions Latest, or somber episode of Lions Latest. I still like to try to highlight the good things, but yeah, it does suck losing a game like that, especially on Thanksgiving. My turkey wasn't any less delicious. My mashed potatoes weren't any less buttery, but it still kind of stung nonetheless. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss a single video here. I don't want you guys to miss any content we have coming up because we have a lot of good topics to talk about next week. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.